Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Certified Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Ginn. Welcome back to a brand new episode. Make sure you take some time, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let us know you're watching. Leave a comment. Let us know your favorite parts of the show and any kind of feedback. I always love any kind of feedback. I don't care if it's positive or negative. Everything kind of helps everything get better and make this show better. So without further ado, let me introduce my guest today. You might know him as Vernon Littlefield from the show Ballers. If you're in LA for a long time, you might remember him patrolling the defense for UCLA. I'm talking about Donovan Carter. Donovan, thank you for joining the show, man.
Oh man, thanks for having me, Mike. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just talking off air how I just missed meeting you last summer when things were still good and people were out and about in bars and stuff because you came to a bar I used to work at. So it's nice to finally be able to sit down and talk to you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, you were saying off air your mom still lives out in DC because I know you were born in DC.
Yeah, I was born in DC, man, and my mom lives in Maryland, Silver Spring. So
Okay.
I got a lot of family out there in the DMV, man. Love it out there. But I'm, from LA. Moved to Cali when I was 8 years old, like third grade, and Cali's just an amazing place, and I've been there ever since.
I
But
know the
but
feeling.
always go.
I know the feeling. I moved out to Tampa this August, like just a few months ago. So, and
Okay.
I'm born and raised in DC, but I won't go back.
Yeah, man. I like to visit. Definitely got to see Mom Dukes and make sure she's good. But yeah, man, nothing like LA, man.
Yeah, I'm dreading going back in Christmas time to visit family because it's gonna be so cold, and I'm so used to the nice warm weather out here. So I know.
I know, man. Me too. I'm going out there for Christmas too, and I mean, I don't. I have jackets, but you need like coats and boots
Oh
and
yeah,
gloves and scarves, man. It's
that
it's
hoodie's
a
not gonna
whole
cut it.
different. Yeah, it's not, man. It's not at all. So I usually like stay in the house.
DC weather's kind of weird though, because you might get like a 70-degree day out of nowhere. So you might.
Yeah, man. It's crazy. Yeah,
You can also get a blizzard in April. So I've seen both. So,
absolutely.
but but let's get back to you real quick. So your story is kind of interesting. It's kind of funny that you end up on a show with The Rock because your story is kind of similar. Both you guys grew up playing football. Both of you guys had like NFL dreams. You were a star in high school. I believe like a 3-star recruit coming out of LA. Got your full ride to UCLA. Things didn't
Hmm.
go 100% as planned at UCLA, but you still had a chance at the pros.
Yes.
I read that you were in the camp for the Raiders. Did you go to
Yes.
any other camps?
Nah, I got invited to the Seahawks and the Raiders for like they had a mini camp for the rookies. So me and I had an agent at the time in football, so we decided to go up to Oakland. Just thought a better opportunity. And then yeah, after 3 days, man, I got cut, and then yeah, I was in the real world after that. I didn't get invited to training camp or anything, so I had to start hustling after that, man.
Did you ever give any consideration to trying for different leagues like the CFL or anything like that?
Yeah, I was doing some tryouts for Canada. They would have like random open tryouts out here, and I mean I think they do it all around the country.
Mhm.
But they had one in LA for a couple of teams, so I was doing that. But at the time, like I played like a true nose guard 3 tech, and Canada just they rules different. They only do 3 downs, so I just think I was at the time I was too big for the D lineman because like a prototypical defensive end in the NFL or college plays like D tackle in Canada. So so yeah, I was trying out. I was thinking
Yeah, it was
about
much more
possibly doing.
pass oriented offenses. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, yes, and I was thinking about arena football, but at the time it just was tough because when I got back from Oakland, I just, to keep to keep in football shape, you got to eat right, you got to train, and I just didn't. At the time, I'm recently graduated, I didn't have any money, so I wasn't even really working out and training how I was supposed to because I just couldn't afford it, and I had to just start working, getting it.
So you came back from Oakland. You were talking about how it's really hard to stay in shape. It's hard to eat right and do all those things. It's not easy. It's definitely not cheap.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to play. I was trying out for, CFL teams, was thinking about doing arena, but like you said, training, eating right, man, like that, it costs money. And I was just recently out of college, like a lot of college kids, man, you broke, you trying to figure it out.
I mean, it's
So
not just
so I
football. That's just life. I mean,
yeah, yeah. It's just life in general, man. So I mean, I wanted to, but but it just didn't work out, and it just didn't make any sense. And I just, I wasn't my folks like my mom lived in Maryland my whole life. My dad, he moved out of California, so I was kind of, out here just on my own doing my own thing. So I just kind of had to let football go, man, and just, figure out my next phase in life.
So fast forward 2013, you get this call for former athletes to do an audition. Because I know you were
Yes.
doing some like commercial work or something like that with UCLA, right?
Yeah, man. I was trying to get a job, man. It was just really frustrating because being a student athlete, our schedule is so rigorous. So we don't get a chance to intern. Um, we didn't even get a chance to really have any jobs. So I didn't have a resume. I didn't have work experience. So I'm trying to apply for jobs, do different stuff. It just wasn't really working out for me. So I went back to my school, just asked for help. They put me in touch with a commercial agency. So I started doing commercials, just background. I'm in full pads. We running plays, all type of stuff. So it's pretty cool. There wasn't saying any lines. You can't even. I'd have to like freeze the frame and like point at me because you'll miss. Like if you blink, you'll miss me.
Yeah.
One of those situations. So I was doing that for a little bit. I was like, this is cool. It was like it was a nice side hustle. It was way. I was doing like other part time. Getting paid by the hour job, and I'm like, shit, this is way better than than this. And then fast forward, like you said, to later in the summer of 2013, I got an email from my coaches about auditioning for ballers, and they was looking for former athletes to try out for my character Vernon and Ricky's character that was played by John David Washington.
Yeah. So you weren't even going to go though, right? Didn't your like dad have to push you or something like that?
Yeah, man. Because I mean, I've never acted before in my life, so when I got the email, I'm thinking it's like similar to like what I was doing with the commercials. Like they just needed some football players in the background wearing pads, running plays. And then they sent me the sides, which is my lines for my audition, for the scene. So I actually thought like they sent me the wrong. I'm like, I think you sent this to the wrong person. It was like, nah, they sent me the characters for both Vernon and Ricky. They was like, pick which one you want. Because at the time I didn't have a manager, I didn't have an agent. I didn't have any representation. I just was, this was just through my network, my coaches, and just through word of mouth.
So
So
at the time did they have a difference between like a wide receiver, like defensive guy, or was it just like two characters they were still building?
yeah, Ricky was always Ricky was always going like offensive guy, receiver type or running back maybe, but they said receiver, and then my character was always defense. At first it was a linebacker, but then they changed it to D line because I played D line in college, and I still looked like a D lineman at the time.
Okay. So you
And
go
yeah, I got
go
the
ahead.
email, man, and I wasn't gonna go, like you said. But then I talked to my dad, and my dad just go for it. Like, what's the worst? The worst they gonna say is no. And he said Samuel Jackson used to be a crackhead before he started acting. And I'm
That's
like,
a true
what?
story. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't know that at the time. So but it was just refreshing to hear my dad because sometimes like your parents, close friends, they're not always the most supportive, especially with something that you've never done. And I never really told my dad about any interest in acting or any of this stuff. I didn't even really tell him about the commercials too much because I'm just hustling. I'm like, man, I'm grown now. I'm like, at the time I was like 20, 22, 23. I'm like, I'm like, I'm a young man, so I don't need mommy and daddy to, I'm trying to do this thing without my mom and dad.
Yeah, of
So,
course.
but I talked to him, to get some uplift just to see what he said, and he was like, man, just go for it. And man, it was one of the best decisions I've made, man, in my life. Just
It
showing
worked
up
out
and
pretty
just
well for you. It worked out
yeah,
pretty well.
man, it was a blessing, man. God is good, man. But that's one of the things, man. People, you get opportunities, but people don't even show up. They already like talk themselves out of it, or I'm not good enough, or this and that. And even at the time, I was getting, like I said, I was applying for jobs, I was getting rejected. I didn't have any experience there. And then and then I'm also, I was auditioning for other roles in commercials, like saying like one or two lines, was getting rejected. But you just gotta just say F it, man, and just go for it. You just gotta just take a risk or a leap of faith.
Blessing in disguise. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like you said, it ended up working out for me. I did have to audition for the part like 10 times over a span of 3 months. So I definitely definitely earned it at the end of the day. But man, it was amazing, man. 5 years on the show, got to meet some cool people. Like I'm just
How
so
long in
glad.
the audition process did you go like before you actually were auditioning with other people that were potentially going to be on the show?
Um, I will probably say like the first two or three. like after I would say probably when it got to like halfway through, I was kind of doing stuff with like with JD and Omar Miller, people that was in the show just for like chemistry
Yeah.
and just to just to see, they just kind of just want to put me through the test, see what I could do, see what I couldn't do.
It seemed to work out, man. Like one of the things that really made me love that show so much was the chemistry between all of you guys.
Yes,
Everybody that seemed to be on the show, nobody seemed to big wig it. Like you had The Rock, you had, people that nobody's ever heard of, like yourself, and in the whole
yes,
combination, everybody seemed to. I mean, obviously it was The Rock show, but everybody seemed to
yes,
have like a very important role to making that show work. And it was like just the whole chemistry between everybody. Like you talked about John David Washington, you guys, you all had your little click. The way you clicked with London Brown, played Reggie. Like you guys were at the hip the whole time throughout the entire show, which was
yeah, yeah.
kind of unique because neither one of you really had, like, he had a little acting experience beforehand, but neither one of you had that much experience.
Yeah, man. I mean, I met London. Like London didn't get hired till like I want to say like 9 months after. Like I got booked. I because we did the pilot first, and he got he got hired after we did the pilot once the show was picked up. But I mean, everybody was so cool, man, so down to earth. It was a good balance of like experienced people and then people that's like, this is probably the first thing you've seen and saw. But everybody knew their role, man, and it was almost, I come from a team background playing sports my whole life, and it was just like being on a team where everybody knew their role, everybody did their job, and you just had to I just had to show up and do my job, and I didn't have to worry or depend on nobody else because I knew they was gonna come with it every time.
Yeah, for sure. One of the things that kind of struck me though, because I was like reading your story, and it's kind of similar to like The Rock's, like where he bottomed out in the CFL, after trying the NFL. He had his time in Miami, which I
Yeah.
actually remember him from because I'm a huge Hurricane fan. Like I grew up like during that era, and like
Okay.
I love the Miami Hurricanes. So I remember him, Warren Sapp, all those guys, and here he comes, and then all of a sudden, he goes to CFL, doesn't make it, gets cut, comes back, and then not much unlike, I mean, it's still acting, it's more physical acting, but jumps into the wrestling world at a young age.
Mhm.
And then
Mhm.
the rest is history. And you see somebody like yourself, and I don't know if I can't speak for The Rock, but I'm sure like when he kind of saw your story, he kind of saw similarities. Um,
Yeah, man. I mean,
was the chemistry
we
there though?
definitely. Yeah, man. I mean, we definitely bonded, for sure, because we kind of came from the same background, and me and him, like, I didn't go to school for acting, or I didn't like train. I didn't go to performing arts school or Juilliard arts. I went to
Yeah,
I
you had
went
your
to
mindset on
UCLA.
football.
Yeah, I went to UCLA for football, and that was it. I got my degree in history. So he was always, he doesn't say a lot, but he leads by example, and just to kind of see how he was and how he presented himself, man, he was so nice and so humble to everybody, and the times we did speak, man, it was always impactful, and he let me know from the beginning, man, like we on your side, man, like we cheering for you, like you here for a reason, like you deserve this, and just take advantage. And then there'd be times where I would come on set and learn, and he would just be like, "Yeah, man, just keep coming on set, man. Keep learning, keep soaking all this in, and asking questions, and just keep getting better. The same work ethic, we had on the field. Same work ethic in this business. Just keep working.
How different was Vernon from Donovan?
Man, actually, a lot of similarities, man. Obviously, his bank
Like,
account is
are you
different.
into like gaming? Are you into like all that stuff that he was into and stuff?
Oh yeah, for sure, man. I'm a gamer. Even now, I was streaming on Twitch. I'm streaming on Twitch now because of Vernon. But I've always been a gamer growing up. Of course, football. I love my family, love my friends. Whatever I can do. I'm not as nice as Vernon. Like I would have definitely like had to put my foot down because
You're not gonna go
I don't
start your
like.
own e-gaming team?
Not yet, man. I mean, I would love to start a group, but yeah, nah, I'm not gonna start my own, own league and stuff. But I mean, I've always been a gamer. Like even in college, that's what half we did besides going to school and practice.
Of course, yeah.
Excuse me.
Shit,
Always playing games
that's
with.
all me and my boys did. We still to this day. I mean, I'm 43 years old. We still to this day, if we have time, it's harder with time. Like the older you get, the harder it's like to line up time. But
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
we
because of
hop on some 2K
quarantine.
every now and then.
Yeah, because of quarantine, you gotta you especially in the beginning, you got a lot more time, because for a minute when I got to college, I wasn't playing as much because I'm just on the go and I'm grinding, trying to figure out. I was like, video games is a luxury. I don't. I need to like be doing some other stuff. But yeah, man, me and Vernon are we definitely. I think the writers did such a good job because they knew me personally, and a lot of the stuff they kind of incorporated with Vernon, that they knew for me as well.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, they always say like, especially in the wrestling world, like the best characters are the ones that are yourself times like 1,000, like turned all the way
Right,
up.
right.
And so
Yeah, and
I noticed as the seasons went on, it went from, a lot of the characters, yourself, Ricky Jarrett, Reggie, all these characters seem to evolve into something different. Now, I always wondered if it was more like, all right, we ran through the initial idea of the script, and now
yeah.
that the people really like the show and we're going to keep going, it kind of almost developed into like a new version of Entourage. And like all you guys like had your own story and your own following. And so like every
Mhm.
character then all of a sudden kept evolving,
Right,
Rob's character, like Joe, kept evolving into something different. Um,
right.
even, what's his name? The Troy Garrity, his Jason
Yeah,
character, went from
yeah,
like a
Jason, yep.
very small character. So by the end of the series, he was like a main character.
Yeah, he was the
And
man, yeah.
like
I mean,
everybody kept
I
evolving.
yeah, man, I mean, I gotta test that to the writer, man. We had amazing writers that, they saw that, man, and I think that's what's good about a show. You see the kid because you invested in each character and you want to see them evolve. You don't want to see them like stay the same or be stagnant. You want to see them like take advantage of opportunity. And I think same thing with Entourage. That's what made the show so good too because you follow these guys and you kind of see what with Turtle how he started here and then he ended up doing his own thing. So I just it was the writing, man. They made our job easier for sure.
Why did the show end? Was it just that everything kind of ran its course, or did they just decide it was time to move on?
I think honestly, I don't know. Like they like that's the thing about acting. Like they don't really tell you those type as an actor. They don't really tell you those type of things. But I think it ran its course. And then even though I believe we could have still kept going on because we were still evolving. You know what I'm saying? And we were
Yeah.
still like doing our own thing. But I really think with Dwayne's schedule, man, like he was just so busy. And then they didn't really write it where they can kind of like let it go on without him, if that makes sense. Because like you said, the show was the Rock show, but I just think with his schedule, man, he was just so busy,
I feel like
and yeah, I think
by the way they were doing it at the end, and obviously everybody kind of came back together at the end for like a finishing moment. But the way they were kind of running those scenes, like where Joe was off doing his thing, Dwayne was doing his thing, you were doing yours with the gaming stuff. Like everybody kind of had their own path. Ricky's character with his family and the baby, and like everybody
yep,
kind of had their own character. They could have easily done a season or two like with not maybe not without the Rock, but maybe less. Like
yeah,
I mean,
I
they,
think
they
I
they
think
do certain things like that. Like Mandalorian right now is doing like half the season. Like you're really not even going to see the Mandalorian character because there was some disputes like on set and stuff like that. So like there's ways around it.
yeah, it is, man. And that's why I was like, I didn't get any insight on that, man. But everything comes to an end at some point too, and I think that's what's hard about some of these shows and stuff. You don't know how to end it, and they at some point they just ended like that, and it's cool to see like people still come up to me and still like they still think the show's coming back on. They like when is another season coming back on? And I'm like. Man, I'm sorry to disappoint you. It's
Yeah,
not, but it's just nice to know people enjoyed it, and they want to see more. And I mean I'm hoping one day maybe they'll do a movie like Entourage did. I
that
mean
would be
shit, I
cool.
would it would be dope to do Ballers Entourage movie together. Type situation.
I
But
mean, you at this point you're all out in LA, aren't you? Like at the characters, like the
exactly,
characters all
exactly.
in LA now. It's not nobody's left in Miami, is there?
Nah, we moved to LA because of the new teams and what's going on there. But yeah, nothing like there was nothing in Miami. They kind of wrote that off after season
Now I know
two.
you guys did a lot of filming in LA, but was some of the early stuff filmed in Miami?
Yeah, the first two seasons was in Miami, and which was amazing. And then season three we came to LA, but we were still pretending to be Miami. And then season 4 or 5 was just all LA.
Okay, so like a lot of it was just like set work and stuff for season 3.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we did a lot. We our show was all location, so they tried to find stuff that looked like Miami out here, and then I think and then when the Chargers and the Rams decided to come to LA, it just made sense that you could talk about that now because LA has two teams now.
Yeah, I mean it's not much difference between LA and Miami. I mean honestly, I
Right,
mean we
right.
have a little more humidity down here. That's probably about
A
it.
lot more. Yeah, a lot more. And LA is just massive.
I'm about to say though, your
Miami.
family's from Silver Spring and DC. You should be used to it.
Yeah, yeah, I got the best of both worlds, man. I was fortunate to go,
People are always
go
shocked
over
by that.
there. By what?
People when they come to DC, the people are always shocked. Like, why is it so humid here? I'm like, we have more humidity than Florida. Like, you don't even know. Like DC
Yeah,
was
man.
built on top of a swamp.
Yeah, man. I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, the whole area is built on top of a swamp, and it's stuck between a mountain and the ocean. So stuff just kind of like just sits.
Yeah, it gets hot out there. Like I will say, like it is. You get all 4 seasons out there. So I try not to come out there in the summer because it's sweltering for sure.
That's why I think it's funny when people say it's like so hot in like Florida or Cali or anywhere. I'm like, DC summers are brutal. And the
Yeah.
only difference is when you're freezing your butts off in January, I'm in like 65, 75 degrees. Like I'm good. So
Yeah, yeah. Now that's what I love because we when we was in Miami, we were filming in winter time, so it's just like the weather's just amazing. Everywhere else, even out here in LA, like it's so like it's nice during the day, but it's so cold at night. And in Miami, they night times are they're perfect.
yeah. I think the only difference is the water. Like you notice as the year goes on, like it's still like 80 degrees outside, but the water all of a sudden starts getting cold.
Yeah, I mean, LA, the water, Pacific Ocean is always cold,
Always
so
freezing. Me and my
yeah,
wife
it's
did our
always
honeymoon out in
freezing.
San Francisco, and like I'd been to LA a number of times, but I'd never been to San Francisco, and it was her first time on the West Coast. This is like 5 years ago, and we we
Yes,
went we went and she had to put her feet in the Pacific Ocean. I'm like, I don't think you want to do that right now. And this is
right,
believe this is
yeah.
June, and it's just like back home in DC, it's like hot, but there it was like kind of like spring, I guess. Like San Francisco June's kind of like spring, but yeah, like that water was freezing.
Yeah, and Northern Cal, that's a whole different vibe from Southern Cal. Like it's always the sun's never really out too much. It's gloomy all the time, so
Yeah. I
it's
got some
different.
history in LA. Like LA is cool. Like LA, the water's usually pretty decent, but it's still kind of chilly.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So what are you working on now? Like it's been a couple years since Baller's over. What you got going on now?
Man, just auditioning, man. Kind of back to the drawing board. I just had an audition today. Um,
For
but
movies or
it's been
TV or both?
man, both, man, both. Like I did TV before, and if you get on a good series, man, it's a blessing. But movies too. I want to do as much as I can. It's been slow because of COVID,
Yeah, of course. A
obviously
lot of
for
filming has
everybody.
stopped. A lot of filming's been moved. Movie releases getting pushed. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, man, just getting my feet back wet, man. Just grinding, just figuring out like everybody else. But I'm just fortunate I got ballers, I got some film, I got like, you can actually like see my acting, a little bit. So yeah, just grinding, man, because I know
I think
after
the best
this
thing
year,
about Ballers is it brought out your personality.
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Like it's not just a
for
football
sure.
player. They could see like when you started talking and when you started having scenes that like they could see like you have a personality.
Yeah. And I think over time, you can kind of see like I got better, and because at first I was kind of on me a little bit, especially being like an ex athlete, like UCLA, all they teach us about is competing, that's all we talk about is competitive greatness. So I'm always competing, always trying to get better, and I think I held my own, especially with The Rock and Troy Garrity and Omar and these well known actors, Rob Corddry. And I think I held my own, but like I said earlier, it was a blessing because like just like football, you got to do is do your job. You don't have to. I don't have to worry about Rob doing a job. Dwayne, even London, man. I just had to come do what I was supposed to do, and let's have a good day.
When you were working with John David, did you I mean obviously he has royalty in his roots. I mean his dad is
Yes.
Denzel. But did you kind of see him blowing up the way he's kind of done the last like couple years?
Man, I mean, I'm definitely not surprised, man, because even though his daddy who his daddy is, you're gonna get different opportunities, man. But he's such a good actor, man, and he's such a good person.
And he has that
So
work ethic.
yeah, got that work ethic, man. I'm a firm believer good things happen to good people. And man, he's getting better, man. Like I feel like he's not even like touched his he ain't even reached his peak. He's still getting better and he's still
He
working
used
and
to
he, and
play
he wants to
football
get
too,
better.
didn't he?
Yeah, yeah, he used to play football, and that's how we kind of got connected. Because when I first met him, I didn't know who he was. Washington is a common last name. I'm not thinking like
Yeah, of course.
Denzel Washington, and he's so humble. Like I didn't even know he had a daddy. The way he was acting, like he was just like real chill, nonchalant, quiet. But yeah, we connected because we both played football. He went to HBCU. He went to Morehouse College, played there. Got a chance to play for the Rams, and he's a little older than me, so he played in NFL Europe back in the day when they had that, the UFL. So he got that work ethic as an athlete. So he always trying to get better. And what can he get better at?
Yeah,
And
I
then he
used to
does it.
I used to be a stat geek back. I used to be a real like stat geek back in the day, and I knew the name, and when I saw the name, and I never put the two together until like I started reading years later to like the bios and stuff, and I was like, oh, that's the same guy. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Yeah, and then I mean, over time, of course, like he sounds like his dad, and he look a little bit like him because I didn't put one on one together, but man, he's like man, he one of the coolest, nicest guys, man, I ever met, and I'm proud of him, man. I mean, it's just motivate for me because I'm like okay, seeing him do his thing, whenever I get my time, I'm gonna do my thing too. But it's just nice to see people killing it.
Was the whole set just like naturally funny? Because I noticed like
Oh yeah, man, it was a blast.
even like serious scenes, it was almost like there was a little bit of a comedic undertone with everything. Like that entire like every cast. And I know like London's like a comedian or something like that, but like he has that comedy
Yeah, yeah,
background,
he does stand up. Yeah.
but the rest of the crew is like supposed to be kind of, I mean, The Rock has his funny stuff he does on TV, and
Yeah.
Rob's done a lot of funny characters throughout the years. But like people like yourself, people like JD, people like Troy and stuff like that, all of you guys were funny. It wasn't just the people that you expected to be funny. Was that the
Yeah, man.
writing, or was that just you guys naturally having fun?
That was the writing. Of course, over time naturally, but they all like our creator will always be like, keep it light, like because we would see it and we think like this is a serious scene, like you said, but he would always be like, keep it light, like keep it fun, and they would let us ad lib a lot, that like we can, we didn't have to say everything on the page. They kind of let us add stuff and let us just do what we wanted to do. Because after a while, we kind of got the flow of the show, so they just was like, do y'all thing.
Yeah, I guess, like I said from the beginning, just the chemistry you guys had was crazy. I really
Yeah, I mean, and that was
like you
from
mentioned,
day
I wish they
one.
would come out with a movie or something like that, just kind of like some kind of closure. I mean, the show
Yeah, I
kind
mean,
of
that was
wrapped,
from
but
that was
go ahead.
yeah, man. I mean, from day one, man. Like we just all like just linked and just vibe, man. And my boy, he told me he was like, man, this is kind of rare because he's been doing, he's been in the game about 15 years now. But at the time, he was just like, this type of vibe, like this isn't like common on sets because like it's always, it's a business as well too. And just like any other job, you work and people don't really, hang out after work. You do your job and you kind of keep it pushing. But I think being on location at first, we had to hang out because we was away from home. Like some of us never been like me. I've never been to Miami. Some of us never been there. So we turned into like a mini family, man. And we still keep in touch. Some of us to this day. And we all wanted to do the show. Like we were like pissed, like what? And even like how it ended. We didn't really get like I feel like a proper send off because you see certain shows like Power and even Game of Thrones, and I mean I'm not
I don't think
comparing
anybody really
our
wants to go into the ending of Game of Thrones. I don't think that I don't
yeah
think
like
that's set. I don't think that's set well with a bunch of people. But go ahead.
right, but you knew like that it was ending. So I mean I don't know. Sometimes when I guess too like when stuff is ending, people look at it way more critical. So because like we didn't even know the show was ending until like 2 days before the premiere of the last season.
Oh,
And
really?
and
That's
we
messed
didn't
up.
and we didn't even and we didn't even know that like we didn't even know that till like Dwayne posted it on his page. He does a lot of stuff, a lot of good content on his social media. But he went on his social media and just said like the show was over. And I'm like, damn, like we didn't really get like no text message from nobody. But I mean, that's just the business side of stuff, you know. And I mean, it is
Did
what it
did
is.
he
And
at
I'm
least
just
send you a case of tequila when it was over?
no, man. I wish, like, I wish I gotta see when I see him, like, man, because I love tequila. But I didn't even know, I didn't even know he's making tequila. Like, he just has so much stuff going on, man. And
Well, I
it's
think the
so
tequila didn't even
motivating.
get finalized till this year.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. But I would have been a like I would have been a test taster. Whatever you need, Dwayne. You ain't even got to pay me.
Now, I love some good tequila too. I used to be head bartender at a Mexican place for a while, so like
Oh, okay.
like an authentic Mexican place too. So we got some great tequilas
Yeah.
and mezcals, and then of
Right.
course
Right.
later I transitioned to whiskey and everything else, like the bar that you went into. But yeah, that's the move right now. You want to get some money, put your name behind a upstart whiskey or upstart liquor brand. You're good to go.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, it was fun, and I mean, that's just life, man. Like, nobody owes you anything, or no type of explanation. You just do your job, do what you do, and move on. So
Have any of you thought about collabing on some different projects? I mean, I know like you mentioned Omar Miller, like that guy's working nonstop. Like I remember him way back in the day on like 8 Mile. And like
yes,
since then, like he's been in everything I turned the TV on. Like he's just
yeah, he's going
constantly.
crazy, man. Yeah, I mean, if the timing is right and it makes sense, I think so. Because I mean, I was just talking to my when I was doing my audition with my acting coach, and he was just kind of saying, a lot of these movies sometimes it's not auditioning, it's just people know the right person and they'll call and be like, "Are you available?" type situation. So, but I mean, that's all with your networking and stuff. But yeah, I mean, if it makes sense, man, like me and my boy Chris Lofton, he played Kassan Teague. He played the other football player in the show,
Mhm.
Kassan. We talked about some stuff. Me and Lyndon, we keep in contact. But I think too, like everybody just grinding right now, just got their own thing going on. But like I said, if it gets down to it, and I think for anybody, man, like if anybody asked about us or vouch or they needed a vouch for anybody, if for sure would make sense.
Yeah, I feel bad for the guy that played Gassan Teague. Like I feel like he unfortunately I feel like he's gonna be typecast a lot.
Oh, my boy Chris. Yeah, yeah, man. Sometimes, he's from Chicago. So I
Like I
mean
just remember a lot of
that's
those guys from like back in the day from like Boys in the Hood and movies like that. They just constantly just keep getting typecast. Like Lorenz Tate took a long time to break out of that mold.
yeah, man. He just gotta keep going at it. But like he's a hell of an actor. And shit. I mean, at this point, they always need like the bad guy and that type of shit. There's plenty of shows for it. So, you just gotta do what you gotta do at this point. But yeah, he's from Chicago, so he just got that Chicago, rough look sometimes. But
I remember seeing
in
him
the
on
day,
I remember seeing him on a couple episodes of Empire, and I was like, yeah, I know that guy.
yeah, man. Yeah, man. He's so talented, man. And he works. But that's the thing. Even with me right now, we just looking for a chance. Because I mean, I'm the same way. Sometimes I get typecast because I'm a bigger dude. So they always, always audition for the big, tough, you know. Even like today, I had to do a security guard, stuff like that. So it's like, you got to take what you can get. But you hope, you just hope that they, the writing gets to know you and just add some more layers to your character as well.
Yeah, like I said before, I think that's what's great about the show is it lets you show your personality. So even though
Absolutely,
even though you're a big guy and you're gonna get typecast in those roles, it's just what it is.
for sure, for
But
sure.
at least now you can like maybe not just get like the serious like mean mugging. Like now you can get like some comedy roles or you can get some action roles. Like, you can get a mix because they did a great job of like showcasing your personality, especially in later seasons.
Yeah, absolutely. Oops, I'm sorry. Somebody called me. Hello.
Yeah, yeah, no worries. We got to see your nice little portfolio shot. It was cool. That's one great thing. I think it's funny. Like I always laugh when somebody like because I've done a few Zooms, especially because we have an MMA show as well. And sometimes people do it on their phones, and like when it goes to like somebody calls or interrupts, and you see the screen pop up of like their portfolio or their profile picture, and I'm just like I always like think it's funny like what people have is different shows. So
Right, right.
You
Yeah,
got your
for
Hollywood
sure.
look on, you ready to go.
Man, you just never know, man. Like I kind of got it to like the bit like the business like different, but I mean everybody's journey different, man. Whatever way you get in. So of course I had to like take the pictures and do all this different stuff, and I just I'm just wasn't used to that type of stuff. but I'm getting used to it now though. So
In 2020 with social media and everything like that, is it easier to kind of network into some of these roles, or is it still just
um
as hard?
I mean, it is because everybody has social media, but then it's like still like I don't know, I'm still old school. I'm like, I love to like talk to you face to face and meet up. But sometimes people answer, sometimes people don't. So it just depends. Like it gives you more, it gives you more ways to shoot your shot. But you
Have you been
just know,
approached
it
about have you
just
been approached about any kind of like web series or any kind of things that you could do online to like get some more work?
I just did a movie in August with my boy Randall Emmett. It's his first time directing. He was a producer on Power for like all 8 seasons, but it's a movie called Midnight in Switchgrass, and it's an indie. Bruce Willis is in it, Emil Hirsch, Megan Fox, Machine Gun Kelly,
Oh,
and
okay.
uh, and
I know
that
what
was
you're talking
that
about
was
now.
pretty cool. Yeah, that was pretty cool because I was some way different
That was the movie
from
that MGK and Megan Fox made all
Megan
the head
Fox.
that made all the headlines for.
Yeah, because they like met and
All,
fell in
all,
love.
all the
But I'm
gossip,
just
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, it was cool to like do something different. I play a cop in there. I got like one scene in there. But I mean, I was just off my network and actually hit them up on Instagram. So it works in your favor. Sometimes it don't work. But it just one of businesses. You just can't take anything personal. Like you're gonna get rejected, stuff like this gonna happen. You just gotta just keep grinding, man, and just keep on keeping on. And even when you grinding, it still doesn't mean like, that you owe anything, you deserve anything as well.
When you were on the show and Vernon was doing like all these like side businesses, the e-gaming, the weed business, like all the different things he was doing. Do you get yourself
Yes.
involved in like side businesses too? Do you got like some stuff you're investing in and working on?
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm into real estate, man. Just income properties. I'm into that. I'm into I got my financial advisor. I'm not into like the stocks day trade myself, but my boy does it for me, which is cool. Getting into esports, stuff, streaming, hosting. I do hosting. I do MCs, public speaking when I can. I've been writing a little bit, trying to write. I had this idea for this game show, so I've been working on that, writing on that. I just started my own podcast as well
What kind of game show?
recently. It's like a sports game show. So like kind of like
Like trivia or like
you know
contest or like
yeah,
events?
yeah, like trivia, but then you have to do a sports aspect after the trivia. So you answer questions, and then if you get it right, you got to perform a sports act, and then that'll be like bonus points.
Oh, okay. That
So
that's
it's like you
that's
like you.
interesting.
uh, Yeah, it's different. Yeah, it's
I
different. I
mean,
got
you're
the
gonna have to get
idea.
a lot
Like
of former athletes on the show. I don't expect like the non-athletic people to kind of jump on that show, but I guess if the
yeah, I
prize is
mean,
big enough.
yeah, it just depends. Like, it could be a mix. Like, I can have like athletes on there, but then you could have kids. You can have old people. Of course, you got to cater to what they do because it could be different sports. Basketball. You could do putt, hacky sack, corn. I mean, not hacky sack, cornhole. Just different things. Like because like I said, I'm all about competing and trivia. But I've been working on the concept for a little bit. Stuff just takes time, and I'm always just open minded on different things, man. Because I love acting, and God, hopefully God continues. If I'm also fortunate to keep going, but you just gotta look at other things, man. Especially being out here in LA, and I'm sure Florida too, man. Like you just gotta, you gotta have multiple streams of income coming in because you just always want to have like just
Especially
you
right
just
now.
never know. Even times like this, man. Like nobody could ever plan for Corona, and I can't. And right now, acting's not getting me like any money because there's no jobs right now. So you just got to think out the box sometimes.
Yeah, I mean that's why like I did this show 2018. I started the show in the beginning of the year and I ran it for I think we did a total of 9 episodes. But life got in the way. I got a little busier, so I started doing more bartending than doing the show. And bartending's always been my full-time job. But with the pandemic and everything, I'm out of work, like not like bars are closing, they're not opening. And so
Right.
and then now even now because of the spike, like restrictions are getting crazy. Luckily I mean, I don't know, lucky. It depends on how you look at it, but down here in Florida there's not as many restrictions, but back in DC they just cut it back to 10 p.m. Maryland, same thing. 25% capacity. Like they're cutting it all back. So bartenders are really hurting. And one of the things I did, it was like, here, I got this free time instead of just sitting on the couch and playing video games every day. Let's get back to work. And I launched my MMA show, and then I got this back going again. So it's been a blessing. I'm happy. I get to talk to people like yourself. I talk to a lot of, like, I don't just talk to like artists. I talk to like people in business. Speaking of football, last season I had Kim Alexander on. She's amazing. Her husband used to be the late NFL linebacker Elijah Alexander, who passed away of cancer. So we talked about her cancer advocacy. It's all of it's just a blessing. Sometimes
Right.
opportunities tend to kind of pop up sometimes.
Yeah, man. You just gotta just, stay diligent. I feel like if you keep doing what you're doing and, keep putting the work, them opportunities gonna come from somewhere.
What's your podcast about? I know you mentioned it.
Yeah, man. My show's called I'm supposed to be here. But it just, just talking life, man, sports, the business.
Is it
Um,
solo or you
you
interview
know,
people?
I both. Like I started solo. I had my boy Chris on there last week. I not last week, but my last episode. I did my first because the first couple was audio just by myself, and then I'm switching to video now, just because everybody wants to see you as well,
That's what we did
and
too.
hear
Yeah.
you too. Yeah, so yeah, just talking about whatever, man. Talking about these girls, talking about LA, the lifestyle, being
I
in the
like to tell people
business.
all the time I got a face for radio. Like I don't like I can do the video. I'm just fine with it, but I'm way more comfortable in audio. It's just this is a different world. But nowadays everything has to be video, especially
Yeah, man, I feel
if
you.
you make it on like YouTube or something like that, and you get like that certain amount of subscribers and viewers, then the money just kind of keep flowing in. So it's just a whole nother revenue
Exactly,
stream.
man. Yeah, so and you just never know, man, like who's gonna see it, maybe that might be an opportunity. But I'm just hoping like, just give people different sides of my personality, and just get to know me more. Cause hopefully, like you might be a fan of my acting, but I'm really a fan of your podcast. I'm really a fan of your streaming or whatever, man. So, just kind of just give like cause you just want people to just kind of know you and get to know you a little bit.
Yeah, it's all media. It's all kind of like linking one to the other. So if you're doing the podcast, maybe you don't get invited for an acting role, but maybe you get invited on something else that'll pay you. It's all in the
It's a
same
hustle,
family.
man.
Yeah, it's all a
Yeah,
hustle.
and it just like when I was playing football, the more you can do, the better, man. Why like not why just play defense? Play special teams as well. You just want to be jack of all trades.
All right, before I let you get out of here, I want to ask you two questions. One,
Yes, sir.
what was your favorite scene on Ballers? Like, what was your favorite thing to do with Vernon?
Man, my favorite scene was episode 3, season 1, when we had the party on the boat at the mansion, the yacht party when I was
Yeah.
doing cocaine off the girls, off the girls. Man, that episode was crazy. But it was just fun because it's always fun because like when we all like that, like everybody was together. Because a lot of times, like if you're not filming with this person in the scene, you don't see them. Like if I didn't film my scenes with Dwayne, I probably would never have seen him the whole. Like you won't see people the whole season sometimes if you don't work with them. So it's always cool when we will all be together because we get to hang out and like catch up. It's like it's like being at school or being in the locker room.
All right, that leads me to my
And
second
I
question.
yes.
Tell me one good, like really good, like behind the scenes story that nobody knows about that show that you
Okay.
won't get in trouble for.
Man, I would probably say I remember it's a couple. I remember one time Ariel she did a scene and she fucking fell like on her ass and I was just I was it was funny as I was funny as fuck. Um Another scene like when I like it was earlier on in the show, and it was like my second day working. I feel like I held my composure pretty good like the whole time. Like I didn't really let nothing rattle me. But for some reason I was just tripping. Like I got starstruck because of Dwayne. Like the lights was bright. Like it was my time to say something, and I didn't like nothing came to mind. I just blanked out and I actually like walked away because I was tripping, and I said cut and everything, and and Dwayne was like. If you get, because he probably can see me freaking out of my eye, because you can see people freaking out sometimes.
Yeah.
So he first let me know. He was like, "Man, there's a script coordinator here for you," and I'm green. I'm new. I'm like, what is that? And he's like, if you have trouble, you could just say line, and they say your line for you. And I said, oh, for real? So I'm like, you know, I'm learning as I go, and he just kind of just took me by, you know, just took me by the shoulder, man, and just gave me a nice little pep talk. Just told me like, man, you got this, you know. We all believe in you. Like, if we didn't think you could do this shit, we wouldn't have hired you. So like, get your shit together and let's go. And after that, man, I was smooth sailing. I was good after that.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you taking your time. Real quick, tell the people where they can find you, get in touch with you in social media and stuff like that.
Man, appreciate you, Mike. Yeah, man, Donovan Carter. You can follow me on Twitter, on Instagram, Donovan W. Carter. I got my podcast as well. I'm supposed to be here. It's on Apple Music and Spotify
Yeah, send me the link to that so I can put
podcasts.
that in the show notes.
Yeah, I will. And yeah, man, check me out. I'm on Twitch as well too. DC So Fly. And yeah, man, thank you. And God bless everybody.
Absolutely, Donovan. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you taking your time. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Certified Podcast. See you next week. Or actually, no, see you 2 weeks. Everybody enjoy their Thanksgiving. We're going to take a break next week. Spend some time with your
Thanksgiving.
Absolutely. Spend some time with your loved ones, and we'll see you the week after that. We'll be back with DJ Brorab, one of Raleigh Durham's finest, good friend of mine. So thank you very much. This is the Certified Podcast.